I want to talk about the challenge of Burnley. With Florian Wirtz, Grace mentioned before, maybe he starts out left. I hope he doesn't, Kiefer, because this is what he's been bought for.
Yeah.
They played a back five when they went away to Tottenham, first game. They played a back five when they went to Man United in game 3. They were a back 4 when they played against Sunderland at home and won. But regardless, what they came up with was a really parsimonious defence. What we know they're going to do is sit there and say, go on, can you break us down and we're going to try and hit you on the break. This is what we got Florian Wirtz in for.
Absolutely. I think at the minute there's loads of talk about Wirtz being kind of like the new creative nucleus and like almost replacing Trent, but obviously a different area of the pitch. I think probably not the problem, but the issue at the moment is that I just don't know. I don't think he knows where he's wanted, because I think you've seen a lot of times in the game against Arsenal that he came quite deep in the first half and he was getting the ball, and when he was in the first phase of play rather than the second or third, and I think then
second half that improved.
Yeah,
I thought that he saw him go near the centre back,
and he has that shot
back,
for the disallowed goal, which is him getting in kind of on the end of plays. But I think obviously with the intensity of the Premier League, to ask him to be in phase 1 and then give it to somebody and then absolutely bust up the pitch to get into phase 3 is obviously a huge ask. So I think Liverpool kind of just need to work that out and maybe just say to him, look, you're on the 18 yard and you're the final phase. You thread the pass. Burnley, I mean, you kind of know what to expect. A bit different from a Sean Dyche side a few years ago, but they were unbeaten at home in the Championship last season. It's home games are going to be how they stay up. If they do stay up, is going to be crucial to that. So you do expect a bit of a battle, and it's not going to be set pieces and stuff like that, like it as heavily as it was under Sean Dyche, but it's still going to be physical. It's going to be robust. But I think with Wirtz, I was looking at something the other day, and it's kind of his average touch away from goal is further than it was at Leverkusen. That kind of shows you the problem, not the problem, but just the kind of thing that needs to iron out and work out where they want him. I think we saw against Palace in the Community Shield. Obviously Wembley's a bigger pitch, but he was closer to the goal. He gives Ekitike the assist for the first goal. There's some really nice drop of the shoulders, but I think it will come in due course. But these kind of games, even Everton, when they come to Anfield at the end of the week, when they kind of have a bit of a low block, these are the games what kind of Wirtz is brought for.
This is what the challenge of Burnley will be this season. As I said before, they're on 3 points. They might have a little bit of regret it's not 4, but they weren't good first half against Man United. So let's not have too much sympathy with the eventual penalty around that. But the 2-0 against Sunderland, for them, what they built that on is the nil.
Yeah.
That's what they're about. That's what they were about last year. It's not new, this. And that's the important thing for maybe people who didn't have their eye on the Championship last year to know, Grace. When Burnley play the way they play against Liverpool, it's not because of Liverpool. They've been playing like this for a year.
That's never going to change. They played like that for years and years. Like, you go to Turf Moor and be like, well, they're just going to park the bus here. So that's just how this game's going to be. And, unbeaten at home in the Championship is massive, because that's what they built their season on last season. For them to get a result.
Such a hard league with so much variance in the results.
Yeah, to get a result over Sunderland, massive for them. If you come up with other teams, you're wanting to stay. You know what it's like when the 3 came up last season and they all go back down. You're looking at it and you're thinking, well, what's going on here? The gulf between the Championship and the Premier League is obviously huge. So for them to get a result against Sunderland was massive. Like, they will feel slightly more comfortable at Turf Moor than they would if they were coming to Anfield, and that gives them a bit of an advantage. I'm not going to say a huge advantage, I still think we'll win, but I just don't think you can write any team off this season, and I don't think you can write them off this early in the season either.
I'm really intrigued, the next 3 league games, Craig, I'm really intrigued with this colourway between the relevant fixtures last season. So the third one in that little run is Palace, where last season we were the better side for an hour, but we were only 1-0 up and we had to hang on in the end. The Anfield derby was one where there was tons and tons of pressure on us. Jota brilliantly gets the goal, his last goal for Liverpool. But it was a tight game, and the manager said he wants fewer tight games. He wants to feel like Liverpool assert themselves a bit more. Last season, they couldn't. This one's Ipswich, and the first half of that was problematic for Liverpool. Then they got to grips with it, and then they took them to the cleaners. I think the manager will want the second half, first half. That's what I think so much the investment's been about. That's what he's talked about. I think that's what he'll be aiming for from this. I think Liverpool might be really, really revved up for this one, maybe a bit more than Burnley think.
Yeah, well, the first half against Ipswich that time was literally his first 45 as Liverpool manager, wasn't it? So it's like,
we'll let him off.
Mitigating circumstances, that one. And that's something
I don't think he lets A himself off or B those players.
No. Well, there's a couple things I was going to say was that's actually something that I've been thinking about with the first 3 fixtures, because actually if you look at them, their fixtures will be Drew, the Newcastle
4 points up.
So exactly, and so I think it's one of those now. We're given all of the drama and all of the moments that we talked about in that first, given the fact that it might be the most enjoyable of going to matches that I've had in such a long time, and I would love a bit more of that. But I think what the manager will be wanting here is just, you know, is a consummate performance. It's he'll want 3 points first of all, because last year he didn't get the 3 points after the international break. That's the first thing, because the Forest game haunted him for months until PSG haunted him. So you want that first and foremost. But I think what you want is a really strong performance from Liverpool that lays a marker down in a different way than what we've done in the first 3 games. The first 3 games were come at us, even when our backs are against the wall, even when it looks like we're not going to win, we're going to win. You know, we're going to find ways in the ways that champions do. But against Burnley, we want this game to be one where we win it. It's 2-0, it's 3-0, it's 3-1. It's one where Liverpool have essentially walked it. Maybe it's an Arne Slot game from last season where by 60 they're already literally able to walk it for the final 30 minutes, and then get some players some more minutes at the end of the game.
I hope you're enjoying this free show at the moment. Loads of excellent, exciting stuff on the Anfield app. If you want to be part of the whole thing, you can download the Anfield app and go from there. Or you can subscribe via the YouTube membership as well for video-only content and other bits and pieces. We love doing these shows. We love that you watch them. So come, be part of the journey with us.